What we want to see is change in women's life.
Information is power. If you don't have that information, you can't act.
50% of our population are women, and we can't afford to leave 50% of humanity behind.
Women count basically means every woman and girl count.
The Women Count program has been started in the context of the establishment of the SDGs. So we have more than 50 indicators of the SDGs that needs to be established. We were talking about a context where no information is available. We know that things are bad. We don't know how bad they are, and we don't know the details in terms of quantifying. To plan, you need data. So it's important for us as a global agency in charge of women's empowerment and gender equality that we supply decision makers with information.
We cover 13 countries, and the great thing about it is that we actually brought to life data. The bureaus were able to do an assessment in terms of their systems, their capacities, and really be conscious about why we need data. Data shows you the reality on the ground. Without evidence and without data, you can't formulate any solution.
Gender statistics framework was developed to avail gender data and facilitate its dissemination and use. The DHS data is being used specifically for advocacy to prevent domestic violence.
A lot of what we did was to conduct research to try to understand where these women were, what were their situations, exactly what were the main issues and how could we support them by gathering data from them and really trying to understand how many women are impacted, what is the level of impact, and we would use that to advocate with the local government, for instance.
The national statistics system, basically, it's about a partnership between the producers and users of statistics with the sole purpose of addressing the data gaps. In the past, we have been producing or second guessing what the users out there demand. So with this kind of partnership, then we'll be able to produce what is being demanded.
Women Count came at a time, I would say, when we needed them. They helped us to realize that we had gaps in the data we are collecting. For instance, as law enforcement, our data collection tool captured more information on the suspects and left out the victims. The information we needed from victims was information that would allow us to prosecute the offenders.
As a Council of Governors, we've coordinated very, very closely with the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics through the support of UN Women. And we've realized that the uptake of gender statistics by the county governments that were targeted has been very impressive. The agencies were able to collaborate and produce very good gender statistical sheets, which are now being used by counties for planning purposes. As a result of the production of these gender data sheets, the counties were able now to allocate pro rata in terms of the resources that are there. Not adequate, of course, but at least informed with the data that they have.
Gender data and statistics uptake and use is critical to the success of any women empowerment and gender equality initiatives, for the simple reason that it's data to serve a purpose, to solve a problem. And the problem here is making informed decisions, making evidence-based policy, and also being accountable to women and girls in the region. The only way to do this is to measure where were we. Data does that for us. So we've been providing support by ensuring, first of all, that data is accessible, and secondly, that users have the capacity to analyze and actually apply this data.
UNFPA has been using the data and the information from the Human Count program, specifically from the joint work that we carry out. We have used the findings of the different reports to really engage with member states, both at country and at regional level. We really engage in a various dialogue at the regional level, for example, with the SADC Parliamentary Forum, really like sharing the findings, presenting the findings, but most importantly, sharing the recommendation based on the findings. At the global level, we also use the finding of the report to engage on a broader dialogue around COVID-19 on how do we make sure that we respond to the needs and demands of women in the context of COVID and post-COVID.
Under the Women Count project, UN Women has assisted us to do an assessment of our national strategy for the development of statistics in Zimbabwe. The NSDS, which we have, are expiring in 2021. So through the Women Count project, we've been able to evaluate it with a view of coming up with strategies of how best we can mainstream gender so that we can improve the next coming NSDS.
Acho que estamos num bom caminho, porque se formos a ver a atividade agrária, principalmente dominada pelas mulheres, nesse caso, o gênero feminino, então é desafio grande, né? Em que as mulheres são as maiores participantes nesse campo. Então, temos que saber onde, como, em que dimensão elas participam.
UN Women trained our officers as well as the officials from Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Health and the National Statistical Office. So they were all trained how to do data collection, analysis and dissemination. After the training, we've been able to develop some systems. We developed the Women Empowerment Management Information System and Gender-Based Management Information System.
One of the things we are very proud of in Ethiopia is we have supported the National Planning Commission of Ethiopia to establish a national dashboard on monitoring these sustainable development goals from a gender perspective. The Ministry of Women and Social Affairs, what they are collecting within that system feeds into the dashboard.
There is now available data informing us on women's access to finance, especially for agri-finance, telling us about the social and economic environment within which the women live and operate, speaking to us about the kind of sources of financing that women can access. So that is data.
Kwa hivi sasa tunapata takwimu kwa urahisi zaidi, kwa hiyo zile takwimu ambazo tunazipata tunaweza kuzifanyia kazi kuweza kupambana na haya makosa ya GBV, yani makosa ya udhalilishaji na ukatili dhidi ya wanawake na watoto.
The future is quite bright and there's quite a lot of expectations for the future of this program, and I hope it can be scaled up. I'm also looking at the future of this data trying to inform the new development plan. The SDGs are coming to an end in the year 2030, so this is the decade of implementation. Women Count need to exist to the end of the SDGs, to the end of the Kenya Vision 2030.
How do we scale up? We have lessons learned, we have good practices, we have enlightened populations, we can see that there is demand. What else do we need to do? Are there further gaps than what we've done? And where we have not applied, in countries where we have not done this, can we now do that?
What we see in the future is stronger availability of gender data at country level, more engagement of the population and decision makers with gender data, more involvement of gender statistics into policy making, more availability of finances and resources to generate more data and to make data more useful in policy making.
Collecting the data is not enough. The application of it is what's important. And so for me, the excitement is that we've put data at the center in the same way we've put women at the center of development. Now what it means is that we have actually the ability to act. The choice that we have to make is whether we want to act or not.